Hi, I'm Willie with H5 Technology. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate each and every one of you. You may have seen a few announcements over the last few days, but if you don't know, UniFi 5.9.29 is out. It is in its final release. It is stable. It is available for download. Your cloud key should be prompting you to upload or download it. I went ahead and installed it here on my controller. So let's just click all the things and look at everything that UniFi 5.9.29 has to offer. And right off the bat, you notice that the dashboard looks different. And you can see here that it tells me that everything is great. So here it has the ISP load. And it says up is 83, down is 18, latency is 44. Now, I'm assuming, I actually haven't specifically dived into how this part of it is determined, and I have to think that is likely on the speed test. And you can see that I'm trying to run the speed test right now. Now, this USG is natted and natted and natted. So there could be some issues with the speed test. As you can see, it's not firing up. So if I had my USG on the edge of the network, this would probably work a little better. But we'll say that it's here. And also, I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you've got an Amplify, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me pointing, but this right here, this is very Amplify-ish right there. So I don't know. Somebody did ask, how does it determine the load? And I have to think that it determines it based on a speed test. Okay, so let's and you can notice that the colors are different, and I'm sure that we can change that. Over here under network, we have excellent. We've got a 100% internet capacity. I don't know if that means we're using 100% or what. That's a little, I don't know if that means we're using 100% or we have 100% available. That I don't know. That's a good question. But it says we're using 5% of our USG 3P. We've got 2 switches, 3 access points, 11 Wi-Fi clients, and 0 guests. Down here under the Wi-Fi traffic distribution for 2.4 gigahertz, you can see that on channels 1 through 3, we've got 1 AP, 2 clients, and it should be actually channel 1. And then we've got 7 clients on channel 6. Here's our 5 gigahertz, so you can see we're sitting at channel 149 and channel 36. And got some clients there. Okay, up here at the top, we've got our sites that we can drop. We can drop those down. We've got a link to our hotspot manager right here for running hotspot services. We've got our sites overview. We can add a site, import a site. Of course, I've turned on my refresh button. Okay, so now it says 0% internet capacity. So that must be how much of the internet capacity was being used, and it was red, so it was poor. So they gave us a legend, and we were able to back into what that meant by just looking at this. So that's good. That means that we can read this easily. So there's no mouse over on internet capacity. There's no mouse over on USG. So there is a mouse over on switches. Wired clients 18, total ports 18, available ports 6, 25 watts consumed. Wireless clients 11, client groups 8. Let's see, Wi-Fi clients represent all devices connected to your Wi-Fi network. We got 8 groups, 29 clients, and then we have no guests. We can edit our account. Is there anything different here? Nope, nothing different here. Under preferences, we've got rows per panel. We can change that. Oh, tooltip's not working on that guy. Dark settings are on. No, tooltip's not working for me there. Now, this is Firefox, not Chrome, so some of this could be because I'm using Firefox. Responsive tables, undocked panels. Confirm before blocking client. Yeah, that's on. Confirm before device upgrade, downgrade. I'd like to have that turned on. Confirm before device restart. Okay. Enable service workers. Not 100% sure what that is. Auto discover devices on. Remember all refresh rates. Use 24-hour time. We got our date. Okay, cool. So we're going to save and close all of those things. Everything is great. That's what it says, right? So we'll scroll down here, and we can see we've got a high usage of retry rates, and that is our lab mesh. So that access point is actually out in the workshop. So we're going to figure out what the heck is going on with that guy. That is definitely strange. So, and that's something I don't have that tuned yet. Like I said, that video is coming. We've got airtime, average airtime, dropped packets. So you can see that that's dropping packets out there. Drop it like it's hot. So yeah, we can scroll. This is nice. This is nice. There's no anomalies. Of course, I'm not running IDS IPS yet. All right, association failures. So we've got association timeouts, WPA failures, blocked by access control, DHCP timeout failures. All of that going on here. And then over here we can see our Wi-Fi clients and existing, new, disconnected. So we've got some things disconnected. Then if we go, we've got time to associate. So that's pretty nice. Man, they've added a lot of information right to the front here. And did you notice when I scrolled down, boom, then we get this bar that gives us this recap of everything that was at the top. So that's pretty cool. All right, so that's our dashboard. So now let's take a look at statistics. And let's see. Looks like nothing's really changed too much here. Got our top usage, and for some reason I can't scroll. That's weird. Okay. Maybe I can scroll now. That's weird. Browser locked up for just a second. So we can take a look at our traffic. So these are the same old graphs that you're used to. We've got our upstairs, our lab HD, our lab mesh AP. We've got our traffic stats. So you can see we've got some things happening here on the DPI. That's nice. Performance. This is, I mean, some of this is looking familiar, you know, so we're just going back over it. So we're looking at our lab switch performance. Here's our upstairs switch. Switch back and forth between those. And then we go actually to switch stats. So we can pull up the lab switch. We can take a look at what's being powered. Have a bad SFP there. Believe it or not. Yeah, right there. Bad Ubiquiti SFP. So far, this is not looking bad. I really like it. Speed test stats. I'm not running the speed test, and we've got our debugging metrics here. All right, maps. So dynamic map came up. That's cool. Still got some disassociated things. Now, the reason that this is disassociated like this is not the fault of UniFi. It's actually because the USG is not in line with the other gear. So we can take a look at the usage, and you can see that this actually right here, that is, I believe, that is the pellet smoker. I do believe. All right, so there's our topology. I don't have anything configured under map yet. All right, so what we've got here, this is the map section, and this could actually be a video just on its own. So we're going to go over this real quick. So you've got your basic map, and this is the map that comes preloaded on every UniFi system. So what we can do is we can take a device, we can place a device on the map, or we could even take a virtual device. So this actually allows us to do some capacity planning. But what I can do then is I can draw a line from here to here, and I can set the scale. I can say that's 1 meter. And then I can come in here and I've got my coverage on. Now, the way I've got things set, you can see that my access point is the power output's not crazy at all. The 5G is almost non-existent. The 2G coverage, you can see where that's at. It's actually a little strange, but that's not what I am really excited about. And they've actually had this in other versions of UniFi, but I thought now was a good time to take a look at it, is the actual designer mode. So we're going to come in here and we're going to edit this, and we're going to go into designer, and we're going to say save, and we're going to go hold on here. Okay, and you can see I've been doodling around a little bit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom back in here. So a good example of how this works is we can come over here and we can find a device. So for here we'll bring the we'll bring my SHD out, or we could also place one of these virtual devices. Okay, so now we'll pretend that this is the building layout. What we can do is we can add walls, and we can add a wall. Oh, I gotta zoom out here so you can see this, because we have to set the height and the thickness of the wall that we're going to draw. So here, let's pretend that this is a steel wall, and it is 10 feet tall and 0.5 feet thick. So it's 10 feet tall, 0.5 thick. So that's 6 inches, right? So you can see when I draw that steel wall, and these walls have properties too. So we're gonna cut them out. So you can see what that steel wall is doing to the signal propagation of the access point, right? So it starts bouncing around everywhere, getting all crazy. So here, let's come in here and we'll do this with this other access point. So you can actually start, if you load your floor map in here, you can actually start you know, really dialing things in. So, and you can even add a different wall. You can build a cubicle. You can do bulletproof glass, double pane coated glass, regular glass, concrete. So we could do a concrete wall of the same thickness, and you can see how it affects the signal. Now this is a guess, but this is a much better guess than we had before. And I'm going to frame this and I'm going to sell it. And we're going to call this Ode to Wi-Fi. That is the name of this piece right here. But get in there and play around with this. This is a really cool tool that they provide. All right, so now we've got our devices. And you can see I've got a couple devices that need to be upgraded. Icons may have been updated. They look like they might have been updated. USG icon definitely looks different than the last one that I remember. But let's pull this up. We'll look at WAN 1. Everything looks the same there. Overview, pretty much the same. Networks, LAN, config. We've got general, services, advanced, which a lot of this is the same as it used to be. And let's see, that was advanced, and we've got manage device. We've still got all the same things there. And then additional services are in the settings section. So we'll be looking at that here in just a second. We've got our stats here. Access points, we're going to see, you know, very similar things here. I don't think there's anything too crazy new. Allow meshing to another access point. Manually configure the uplink priorities if you're familiar with that. That's been there for a little bit. Tools. We've got our RF environment where we can do our scan. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything new on the switches. This all looks pretty similar here. What we got under port? Profile overrides. We still enable egress rate limit. That's been there. Config. Services. You can set the management VLAN, but I also think that that's been around for a little while. Networks all the same. Manage device. Tools. We've got the debug terminal. You know I love that. So that's pretty much all the same. So it looks like the device stuff didn't get too upgraded there. Clients still looking pretty much the same. Insights, neighboring access points. So yeah, somebody around here's got get off my Wi-Fi. That's original. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of these aren't even really close to me, but it's Wi-Fi, right? So it travels through the air and then we pick it up. So you got our neighboring access point, we got our known clients, past connections, past guest authorizations, switch stats. Let's see. Port forwarding stats, dynamic DNS, remote user VPN, AC EDU streams, controller logs. So this pretty much looks the way that it did. PoE still kind of the same. Link status. Clear our counters. IDS. So now the IDS IPS has this really nice screen. Now I am, like I said, I'm not running it. If I was running it though, I would have you know, stats on this screen. We can filter by type, security, country, IP address. That's really nice. I like this. I could actually see if you had an XG, you know, a USG XG, and you were running it and that thing was out facing the internet, I could see this being a pretty useful, nice tool. You know, maybe management would like it. It's got colors and pie graphs and bar charts and all that good stuff. All right. So then there are the release notes. So we can send, you know, feedbacks and all that feedback. We can send feedback, all that good stuff. So new features, new dashboard, IPS dashboard, IPS signature suppression, add support for IPS signature categories control, add per radio uplink control, add speed and duplex config for USG interfaces, add fallback VLAN support for switch when using 802.1x, add local single sign-on login, add controller HD and micro SD free space monitoring. So that must be for interesting. Yeah, we're going to take a look at that. I don't know if you have to have cloud key for those features to work or not. So, but we'll find out. New cloud access integration. All right, down here under events, we see all of the events that are happening. Admin. We got our alerts. Then we've got our settings. So let's see, we're taking a look at the site here, site config. I don't use the advanced features right now, and I never automatically upgrade the AP firmware. I do have alert emails enabled. I'd have the status LED enabled. I've disabled my periodic speed test. They do have the port remapping. Configure VoIP port as WAN 2. I think that's actually been in there a while. Enable connectivity monitor and wireless uplink. Now, there's a warning right here. Connectivity monitor will disable broadcasting of the SSID when the AP does not have connectivity to the gateway. So if your APs cannot get to the gateway, they will stop broadcasting wireless. So let's say that you are running UniFi in a restaurant, and the gateway goes down, but your point of sale is on site. Your wait staff will lose connection if you have that enabled, because it will if the gateway is not available, but they're using a local resource. Because don't think that your gateway has to be your DHCP server. I know I can hear people out there freaking out right now, but your gateway does not have to be your DHCP server. So your gateway goes down, wait staff's trying to take orders for a local point of sale, and now all of a sudden they can't. So you need to watch that too. Enable net console, enable remote syslog. I think some of that stuff's been down there. Okay. So, on the dashboard, ISP load. Somebody asked this question. I was wondering myself. I think we just figured it out. Right here, provider capabilities. So I'm going to put 1,000 megabits there and 1,000 megabits there because I have gigabit symmetrical. And we will go ahead and apply changes. So I'm pretty sure that my tooltips are broken because this is Firefox, and that's probably the reason. And I probably need to do a refresh and all that good stuff. Let's see. All right. My browser has once again started freaking out. Okay, wireless network. Let's create a new wireless network. See if anything has really changed here. Enable multicast enhancement. I'm trying to remember if that came in from the 5.8. I can't remember. If you can remember, put it down in the comments. There's the WLAN schedule. People want to know how they can turn their Wi-Fi. Now, this is not new. This is a feature that's been around for many versions, right? But if people want to know, how can I turn my Wi-Fi off? So you can turn specific SSIDs off at certain times, and that's how you do that right here with the schedule. We don't want to mess with the 802.11 rate and beacon controls unless Ubiquiti tells us to. That's something that's a little more advanced. You can do our MAC filtering. We've got radius, MAC authentication. If your radius server that you're running supports that. All right, so networks. So let's take a look. So this is our LAN. Yep, this all looks pretty much the same as it did before in the last version. Okay, so here's our WAN connection, and it is WAN 1, and it's DHCP. So this is, pretty much the same since they've allowed us to edit that WAN connection. So if I create a new network, I've still got the same options that I had before, but I can do a WAN, and I can choose WAN 2 now. And some of you have been able to do this on other versions, but this is the first time we've kind of gone through it here, so just bear with me. I do have a point to make here. Right here, there's this load balancing, and you've got failover or weighted load balance. So you can do weighted load balance, but right now, you can't do policy-based routing. So it's just load balancing, it's likely weighted load balance. It's sending equal traffic out of each of those, right? That's all right. And then your failover, the last time I checked, was still just outbound traffic. So if you've got inbound port forwarding and things like that, it doesn't fail over. So if you want to do anything like that, don't you could use a JSON file. I don't know why you would. That's crazy that you buy UniFi for this interface and then you use a JSON file. Just buy an edge router until this is ready for that. So, all right, routing and firewall. Static routes all looks the same. Firewall all looks the same for now. Got our IP version 6 rules. Got our groups. We got our settings. Anything new here in the settings? Default action logging. That might be controls whether. Hey, look. Tooltips are working on this screen. That's weird. That's weird. I don't know if that's a bug or not. Anyway, if anybody from Ubiquiti watches this, only part of the tooltips work in Firefox. But these are all pretty much default except the default action logging, so we can log the WAN LAN rules and the guest rules. So that's pretty nice. I'm trying to remember if that was in there in the last version. It's been a while since we did a walkthrough like this. And that's about all there is there. We got our port forwarding. It's still basic, and you'll notice that it does not ask you which WAN port because it's going to default to your WAN port 1. Geo-filtering, you can enable that if you like. And what you could do is you could set these rules up so that they blocked everything but the country, and you could make that rule shorter. IPS, I do not, I'm not running this right now. It's still considered beta. Look, that tooltip doesn't work. Weird, man, with the tooltips. DPI, you can see, is on, and you've got the DPI restrictions. We went over this in a previous video. If you go back to the other UniFi video, we did go over that. I'm going to turn DPI off. We've got our guest control here. We've got our guest portal. So under authentication, we've got no auth, simple auth, hotspot, Facebook Wi-Fi is now up at the top under authentication. So that's interesting. And it may have been there in the old version too, and I didn't notice. And you've got external portal server. If you've got an SSL certificate, you can do all the SSL redirecting. And then you can go to town customizing your portal. For those of you who follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you will know that when my kids go to get on the Wi-Fi, they have to have vouchers, and this is our screen right here. That is Negan from The Walking Dead, in case you don't know who that is. And I thought that was hilarious. I might be in that alone. So down here we've got our payments, our vouchers. Let's see if anything's changed with payments. Let's see. So under payments, let's see. It looks like the same list of payment providers there. So I'm going to uncheck that. You can still do your radius. So you can do an external radius authentication server, Facebook, Google+, WeChat. I take a look at our hotspot manager. Hopefully it doesn't pull up a list of my vouchers. I'm not going to click on the vouchers because I've got a ton of vouchers in there and I don't want to have to necessarily cut those out, but they did adapt the same screen style to the hotspot manager. Doesn't look like anything has changed here. So hotspot manager hasn't had a real overhaul in a little while. Now we do have voucher customization built into the built right into the now, and that could have been an older version and I just kind of glossed over it, but here we are. We're 5.9.29, so we're looking at all the things. So that is the guest control. Profiles, we're back here. This is our default radius server. We've got our switch port profiles. We've gone over this. I don't think there's anything new here. Nope, this all still looks the same. Under services, we've got radius, hotspot 2.0, DHCP. So these are all pretty much the same way they were. Dynamic DNS, multicast DNS. Look, that tooltip works. So some tooltips work. Maybe they don't. I'll have to check it out in Chrome. And maybe it's just a Firefox thing, or maybe those tooltips are broken. Don't know, to be honest with you. Got our SIP for our EDUs. We got our SNMP here. UPnP, NTP. That needs to be changed. And then I know in a couple revisions ago, people were really happy about the scheduled upgrade. So we can create schedules for all the device on our networks, and we can tell it when to go in. So you can go every hour, day, week, month, year. You can set it and just forget it and let the devices upgrade. I don't have anything in there. I can see for some people where that's advantageous, and maybe at some point, I manage quite a few controllers now, but it's still not enough where I feel the need to just tell the software to start doing the upgrades. We've got our admins screen here. If we add a new admin, can enable cloud access, role. So we got some global permissions, site permissions, read only. So this could have been, these could have been, I don't remember seeing these though. And maybe they were there. I'm pretty sure they were there. Pretty sure they were there. We've got our user groups that you can see are set up here. Nothing new here. Same old on that. It'd be nice to get a total aggregate cap there. We've got our controller info here. Notifications. We got cloud access. I do not have elite maintenance. Let's see. There's no. So the one upgrade thing that it was talking about. Yeah, they must still only be doing that just for the cloud key, and this is not on a cloud key. But we have successfully clicked all the things and looked at just about everything. So if you are at a place where you can upgrade and check out all the new features, I suggest that you do that. Ubiquiti has put a lot of work into this. We still don't have multiple WAN IPs on the USG, but I hope that's coming. But I think that overall they've done a very good job, and it looks very clean. And I'm sure there are other enhancements that I didn't even. There's probably something we didn't click on, or probably something we don't know about. But if you don't have a USG or a switch or whatever, I'll put some links down there, some Amazon links. You can grab those. But go out, make sure you got a backup, do the upgrade. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you need IT consulting, you can go down to h5llc.com, fill out that contact form, sign up for the newsletter. Someone will get in touch with you, and if we can't help you, we'll get you to someone who can. Our Discord link is down there. Our Patreon link is also below. People signing up for Patreon. Now, this video went straight to the YouTubes, but there are some other videos coming this weekend that will be, my patrons will get first whack at those. But you can sign up for that down there. Thank you to everyone who's done that. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter too over at h5llc.com. If you want to buy any of the gear that you see here, those Amazon links will be down below. Once again, I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you in the next video.